Tottenham Hotspur 3, Nottingham Forest 1. Yesterday, 6 p.m. kickoff at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Tottenham go 4th in the Premier League. Welcome to PRTV Spurs, Paxton Road TV. Welcome to the reaction show. Good evening, Monday evening, after a successful 3 points yesterday at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Whether you was at the ground, wherever you watched it on telly, wherever you guys watched it, I hope you enjoyed the game. Spurs sitting 4th in the Barclays Premier League as it stands now. And it was a good game. Was it a good game? Was it a bad game? Who was your man of the match? Joining me as always. And guys, ladies and gentlemen, he is in manager mode today. He looks like a manager on the touchline. It is my manager, Mr. Sam, Spurs for Life. Good evening, Sam. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm not too bad at all. Yeah, ready to just discuss matters. Yeah, got my football gear on.
Yes, coach.
Yeah. Sam for Life Clock. That's what my name is.
Sam for Life Clock. Right. Wherever you're joining us, wherever you're watching PRTV Spurs and Paxton Road TV, if you haven't already followed or subscribed to the channel, guys, just smash the like button. Just give us a follow. As always, this is where all the content's going to be. So you don't want to miss out. You want to be there. You want to be in it to win it. So, Sam, you wasn't at the game yesterday. Forgot to message you now. I bet you wished you was at the game now, yeah?
Weather wasn't the best, so
Yeah.
I was okay. I watched it in the comfort of my house. And yeah, there was obviously the incident that happened down there as well before the game. Not football related, but yeah, obviously a sad thing, which would have made it a bit difficult for me to get in and out. So yeah, I was okay with missing that one. There's bigger games to... I would have said bigger fish to fry, but that's not quite true. There's bigger games to contend with very soon.
Bigger Arsenal to unload and unlock. That's what we've got to do, yeah? Dismantle Arsenal. That's what we need to do. I was at the game. I've got my say on it. I want to hear what you've got to say about it as well. In my opinion, yes, it was a 3-1 victory, but I'm still waiting for that convincing victory. And whilst we talk about that, I'll add Mr. Darius 3K to the stream. Good evening, Darius. How are you as well?
Ooh. I look like a midget right now. I'm trying to sort my camera out. I look like I'm about 2 feet. Let me do that. And then I can lean back and I can say hello, everyone. Manager Shane is in the building. He's got the cap on.
Yeah,
looking like he's about to deploy a mean 4-4-2, like Tony Pulis back in the day. So
coming like Klopp. I said that.
He's coming like it's either going to be a dynamic 4-3-3 or a dirty 4-4-2. There's no other way behind it. So yeah, good to see you boys. Good to see you boys.
Good. Right, so I'll start off yesterday. I think I was surprised with the change actually yesterday, but we'll talk about that as well. The whole point of, the whole game, I think, and I said it to the guy next to me, it's the story of our season, isn't it? We don't score on the Paxton Road end. I'm getting pissed off with that now. It's just freaking getting ridiculous. I said to the guy next to me, I said, listen, mate, don't worry about it. You're watching the game, but remember, we're not going to score this end. Guy goes to me, don't worry. I'm sat here next to you today. We're going to score Paxton Road end. I'm like, lock yourself in. I said, go downstairs, go and get your food or whatever and come back at half time. And then when we went 1-0 up, he said to me, "See, I told you." I said, "Nah, we haven't scored. Nottingham Forest scored for us. That's not our goal." Right? So, and my missus goes, "Yeah, we haven't scored yet. We haven't scored yet. That's their goal." I went, "Yeah, there you go." Anyway, same old story first half. I don't know about what you guys thought about the first half. We're going to the stats in a minute. But Sam, what did you think of the first half?
What did I think of the first half? We scored first. I guess that was the positive. We didn't actually score, obviously. It was no own goal. But we looked like we tried to start quickly. There's a couple of things I noticed. One of them was that we started quite quickly, trying to obviously get that goal. And then we were shooting from outside the box. I counted at least 4 shots from Basuma outside the box in that first half alone, which definitely was something that they've been told to do. So whether they were coached not to do that in the first place, but then encouraged to do it, I don't know. But they used a marked change. There was much more shots. But if we really break down that half, we could have been 2-1 down potentially. You could have scored a couple of goals ourselves, but they had some clear-cut opportunities. One they scored, one Chris was, I don't know how he missed it, and then there was another one I think that he had an opportunity to score. Second half was different. So first half, I was okay with it, but it's pretty much similar to how we've seen lots of first halves over the last 4 or 5 games, I think.
And Sean's not with us today, Sam. He's not done it. He didn't watch the game so much. But remember where a couple of weeks ago when you was doing your thing in the sun and giving it large and having your whatever? Well, guess what? Guess where Sean is tonight? Good evening from the Provincials, Turks and Caicos Islands in the sunny Caribbean Sea.
If you know, you know.
Yeah, our very own Mr. Hurl is there. So there you go. You see?
Live it up for all of us, Sean, because I'm very jealous right now.
Yeah, so that means you've been there and you're gone there. Now it's me. Looks like me.
You're the only one.
Yeah. Looks like I'm the only one now. So there we go. Sean, Darius, what did you make of the first half?
It was a good half of a half, I guess you could call it, really. Good first quarter. Yeah, it was interesting because, you know, for me, I haven't really been able to watch full 90-minute games the last few match days. So it was very, very, very sort of interesting for me to watch the game in full, you know, pay attention to players, see how we played. And we started off quick, and that's what sort of was a bit of a surprise to me, because normally we concede in first. It's quite early most of the time. And then we're sort of not really reacting until the second half whistle goes. So to see us get a goal, well, not us, but to see us, you know, create a chance that led to a mistake, which then led to our goal, was positive to see. Certain players, I think, had decent games. Whether you know, call that a great game for them or a great game in general, whatever. Players like Timo Werner, who did a job that you need him to do, did all right, got an assist, put the ball in the box. Players like Basuma had a few good shots. But you know, towards the end of the first half, like 25 minutes maybe when they got their goal, 26 minutes, as soon as they scored. And again, some will say it's poor defending from Udoji. Some will say we got lucky, or they got lucky scoring that goal with 2 megs on our players. However you want to take it, after that goal, the reaction was poor, and it seemed like it was back to normal again in that first half. So, yeah, the first half was bad, and then the second half, I personally think the first half was bad. I thought it wasn't impressive, and I didn't think the second half was that much better either. I think we scored great goals. Don't get me wrong, really good goals, and we had chances. But to me, I wasn't. Even at 3-1, I still felt like, you know, if Forest score, who's to say they won't score another? So I don't think the performance was convincing, but I'm not going to sit here and complain and be like, oh, well, this is awful, this is whatever, because we won 3-1, we got 3 points, and we're pretty much in a very good position to say that we're going to get Champions League football, whether people are happy about that or not. So looking at it, it's a good result. And again, individuals had really good games. Some didn't. We'll get into who did and who didn't. But I think overall the performance wasn't. I'd probably give it like a 6 out of 10, maybe just above average performance. So I think there was room to improve. I
think that first half for me, like you keep saying, Sam, first 5-10 minutes, and you just said it, Darius, we were at it straight away. You could tell that they wanted to get the game done and dusted, right? And the way Forest lined up, it was happening at first. You know, we was getting behind them, like you said, was having shots from outside the box and all sorts of stuff. And then we got that deflected goals. Then for me, we just sat back. We just sat back, and I thought, here we go again, same old, same old. And like you said, Darius, the more the game went on, Forest grew into it more and more. And I was saying to the guy next to me, and even to my missus, that Elanga is getting the freedom of Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. And I said it on the groups as well. I'm not blaming Destiny, but I think Elanga had him on toast. Every time he was just stood there on his own because Destiny was coming in and the ball was getting played over the top, and Elanga had the whole freedom, and he done what he done. There was a few times, you know, he got in, but they had chances and whatever. But every single time they were looking for that ball, and it kept happening, even on the left as well, every now and then with Poro. And then obviously they get the equaliser, and then how Chris Woods has missed that goal, I do not know. Because I don't know about you two. If he scores that, and I think even Sandra could have scored that, or Darren Bent. How he missed that, I don't know. I know I'm going about ifs and buts. Sam, if he would have scored that goal, I think it would have been a different game. 100% would have been a different game.
Yeah, because they would have been winning that at that
Yeah.
point. So it would have been. I still think we would have won the game. I don't think Forest had enough quality all over the pitch to be able to sustain 90 minutes of that football. But yeah, it would have made their mentality a little bit different had they been winning 2-1. You go into the second half and you can defend that lead. What I would say about the Elanga thing is, again, it's tactical. They cheated a little bit. They try. What I mean by cheating is that if you play a wide forward and you play him in the half space in between, say, the wide area and the fullback area and just inside the centre back, a little bit deeper, and you can hold your space and you can be brave, then the transition is quite easy. That's what Elanga was trying to do. For the goal that they scored, again, it's very simple. You got to track your players. You can't let a player run off the back of you. And Udogie, and as the commentators did say in the game, has been guilty of that this season. And running off the back of people and not tracking your runners is a basic thing, as is passing 5 yards, a basic principle. So there are things that need to be improved. There are things that I think the basics need to be sorted out. I don't think they're very good at shooting. Maybe that's one of the reasons why they haven't been told to shoot from distance, because the shots were shite. Basuma had all 4 shots. I don't think he might have troubled the keeper once, but the other 3 were terrible.
And that was a deflected shot as well.
And that was deflected. Yeah, that's right. So maybe that's what Hanja told these lot, don't shoot so much because you can't. But again, there was very predictable in our build-up of play. And my only concern, well, not my only concern, but my biggest concern is when you come to play the likes of Man City, the likes of Arsenal, the likes of Liverpool, although saying that Liverpool were quite chaotic yesterday. If they know what they're doing and they've got any sort of nous and they've got decent quality, we are going to get caught out. And that's the problem. We will get goals conceded. We have to outscore teams at the moment.
Yeah, I agree. And also on that, their first goal, all right, Destiny gets caught behind, but the ball's then played into the area, and where's the rest of them?
It's a hard one, isn't it? Because it's like, I really can only blame Destiny for if you're gonna blame anyone for that goal, I can really only blame Destiny. I can't remember if we gave the ball away to lead to that counter attack.
I think it was over the top.
Destiny, he was jogging, and Van der Ven again, the ball went through his leg. Oh, sorry, Romero, the ball went through his legs, and Porro, the ball went through his legs. So it's hard for me to like get annoyed. The way it looked was pretty poor. It looks like a simple goal to concede, but I can only blame Destiny for that. And then on the shooting thing, just as Sam said, I think it's crazy. It'd be crazy it would be crazy if that was true, because we've got, in my opinion, 3 of some of the best long shot takers in our team in Porro, Son, and Maddison. So I don't even think it's a case of him not wanting to shoot. I just don't know why we're not getting certain players in the position to shoot. I don't know why it was Højbjerg and Basuma shooting most of our long shots in that game yesterday. So I think it looked better when we took more shots, but it just wasn't, like you said, Sam, it wasn't the right person. Højbjerg twice, he had a good shot, but it was deflected, saved by Sells, whatever his name is. And another one was like low driven into the keeper's hands. It just like, as soon as those players get the ball, you're not really confident that they're going to score.
But let me just add to that. Like I said, the shooting thing, I want them to shoot more. Not because I want them to score more worldies from outside the box, but as I was saying to you yesterday, Darius, what it does, it changes the mindset of the players. If they always know that you're going to be trying to play the ball into the box, hence the reason why we've got so many touches in the box, and then you're going to try to score from in there, they can do the low block. They don't have to go out to defend it. If you can create doubt in their minds by playing it to the edge of the box, having shots from 20, 25 yards out, all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, well, we have to defend that. And if you have to defend that, there's only one way of defending a shot from outside. You have to go and get to the ball, or you rely on your keeper to make the save. Now, I'm not going to be relying on my keeper every single time for a long shot. You're hoping that percentages-wise that you're not going to get that many. But the moment you start shooting and getting the ball on target and your keeper is having to make save, your defenders have to change their mindset. Somebody's going to have to go to the ball, whether that's a midfielder, whether that is a defender. That creates space. The idea of the whole of this thing is to create as much space as possible in a low block situation. And low block situations can be disrupted if you play the ball quickly in and around them, or you take shots to pull defenders out of position. And that's one of the things that I think they tried, just a bit unsuccessful. That's all.
But there was a few times in that game, and even Maddison as well, and Son, where when they got the ball, they done the right thing, they turned, and the shot was on. The shot was on. And you can hear people shouting, shoot, shoot. But then they just went, nah, I ain't shooting. And then they started doing this tiki-taka thing. And we ended up losing possession, or we didn't do anything of it, which I don't understand it now, like you're saying, Sam and Darius. I don't know whether they've been told not to shoot. I don't know. But
I think it's an automation thing. If you look and see how we play, we're always trying to score very, very similar goal.
That's what they do in training. That's what if you look at the training videos,
you give that winger a space, and then as soon as you brought that defense out of their shape, and Werner whips a ball across the box, or Brennan Johnson whips a ball across the box, that's how we look to try and score most of our goals. So for me, the issue is it doesn't look like anybody's going to actually say, you know what, maybe we just don't go against it. Maybe we go against the system, and maybe a bit of individual brilliance is going to be the reason why we score, because you're not always going to score the exact same structured goal that you're going to score in training every day.
If you overcoach players, if you overcoach them, this is what you get. You end up with a situation where, and they're young, most of them are young players in the squad. Hence the reason why they are like that. You tend to, well, I did that. And this is what I'm saying about Timo Werner. His job yesterday, or his job in general, is to get to the byline and cut the ball across. Now, if he does that, that's brilliant. But the moment they stop him from doing that, it's almost like, okay, what do I do now, boss?
Yeah.
I can't get to the byline anymore. What do I cut inside? And I can't have players who don't have any autonomy in thought. Right, I can't get to the byline now. Let me try and cut inside. Let me have a whip off my right foot. Now, I know he's not going to score enough goals, but again, it just puts doubt into the minds of the defenders. I didn't see enough of that. I don't see enough off the cuff behavior from these players. It's too coached. I can always see the patterns of play, and I can always tell who they're going to try to get the ball to from all avenues of the pitch. So when they start off from the centre back, I know where the ball's going to go mostly, unless you can defend it. When the ball goes into the midfield area, I know they're going to try to play it out wide, then come back inside, to then get back out wide, to get to the byline, to get it back in. It's patterns of play, which you can see in their training videos. That's great, but you need quality throughout, and you don't need to have unforced errors to add into that mix too many times either.
And the other thing as well, if you want to do that, get Johnson down the right or Werner down the left and get the ball in the box. How many times have they done that and there's no one in the box?
True.
Yeah. So if you're doing that in training, are you doing that in training without anyone attacking the ball? Because if you're not practicing shooting from outside the box, and if what you're saying, Sam, is they're practicing these go down the byline, cross the ball in, then who is supposed to be the men going into the middle? There was times yesterday where Son was playing number 6, number 7, number 8 role sometimes. And you're like, hold on, you're playing as up top, so far deep. Johnson's gone down the byline, he's crossed it in. There's no one there. So what? Yes, you're training and you're practicing that, but then put number 9 in there then to get to that ball. Because we saw what Werner did the other day against Luton. He hid behind that player when the ball was crossing to the box because he's probably, oh shit, what do I do? Oh no, if the ball comes to me. Oh no, I'm going to have to score. Oh no, if I miss. Johnson done it very cleverly that once. So why aren't they doing it? It's just
inconsistency. The biggest thing is with these players, with most of these players, is we have an inconsistency problem. Again, we was talking to Darius about it yesterday. Johnson starting, great, because he come on for Kula the last few games and started. But he's not going to be a 90%, 9 out of 10 week in, week out. He's going to be an 8, then he's sometimes going to be a 5, and he'll be a 7, then he'll be a 4 again, then he'll be a 6, then he'll be a 6, then he'll be a 5. He's not going to be 9, 8, 9, 8, 9, 9, 9, 9. We need that. That's what you need if you're going to play this type of football and this type of system. You can't have players this 1 minute, because all you then do is, right, they're not good enough to start, we'll start somebody else. Then Kulu has to start. Kulu doesn't have the actual, what's the word I'm looking for? What's the word we look, the qualities to play in that wide role for me, because he hasn't got enough pace. So then what do? You have to play slightly differently if you're going to play Kulu, in my opinion, but we don't seem to. So again, I'll say it again, and I'll probably say it a lot more times by the end of the year. We rely on quality throughout. That's why the second half, when you brought on those 2 midfielders, it's like, at least we've gotten the, and this is what I'm saying, give big props out to Højbjerg, because he's looked like he wants to play, and he looks like he wants to get a starting position. And you know what? Basuma can hold bench. He can hold bench.
Yep, right.
And look, uncomfortable conversations about Basuma will be had very, very soon, because I think holding bench might even be a little bit too nice for him at this point, because it ain't looking good. But let's get into it, Sid, because I'm very much looking forward to see what stats you've got. Right,
so I'm going to go by halves again like I normally do. So first half, it was 64% Tottenham, 36 Nottingham Forest. We had 8 shots. They had 7. 3 on target for both sides. 2 off target. They had 4 off target. I think they missed out the 17 off targets for Basuma. 4 shots inside the box and 4 outside the box. Like you said, Sam, that's the first.
All Basuma. Every single one of them.
I think they all were Basuma.
They were.
I know they were. I counted them.
Forest had 4 out inside and 3 on the out. 338 passes, 88% success rate. They had 186 at 82%. 204 touches in the opposite, not box, opposite half.
Oh, half.
Half, yeah.
Can't be in the box. If that's in the box,
I was going to say, that's crazy. If that was
why didn't change that. They had 68 in our half and 20 touches in their box. They had 10 in our box. One thing I'll say, and then I'm going to open it to you two. Every time we've done a home game, Sam, I know, Darius, you've not been around, but away teams, I don't think anyone's had more than 100 in the first half, because obviously we're at home and the way we play, it's all about passing, and teams are coming and just sitting back and letting us do all the passing, and then they're trying to do us on the counter, which they did yesterday. So looking at that then, Darius, you'd expect that being at home, right?
Yeah, I think last time I came on here, I can't remember what game it was. It was a few weeks ago, but we were speaking about similar. It was a game where we had like 70% possession, but had 0 shots on goal. What was that game where it was a horrible first half? Was it Brentford?
It was Villa.
It might have been Villa.
It was Villa.
Villa Luton. I can't remember what game it was.
But Villa game, we didn't have a shot.
Yeah.
And we had like 70% possession, and they had more shots than us or something. Basically, what I'm trying to get at is I don't care for us dominating games like this if we're not going to show precedent and a threat. 64% possession, but you've had 1 more shot than the opposing team. 68 passes in the opposition half, yet we've had 200 and they've only had half of what we've had. That just shows that they're more efficient than us. It just shows that we're dilly-dallying, and it shows that we're not really knowing what to do on the ball and in and around those areas. And again, the shots in and outside the box look good for me. I want to see more shots inside the box, but the amount of shots outside the box is promising. But when I look at that, to me, it just looks like when we get in that final half, we're keeping possession, we're prioritizing keeping possession over, maybe taking 1 or 2 more risks and getting into a situation where we've got bigger, more threatening chances, and it shows in the expected goals as well. Because I don't think it was very, very high today either. So I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was less than 2. So again, good stats to look at, and probably if you haven't watched the game, you'd think, yeah, we're doing all right. Conceded a lot of shots, but that's just typical of us. But when you actually look at the game and when you watch the full game, 16 minutes we had, I think. Basuma's first 4 shots, or at least 3 of them, came within about 10 minutes of themselves, didn't they, Sam? So
yeah, they did.
After that goal they scored in the 27th minute, I mean, again, Chris Wood hitting the post. I genuinely think he thought if he had just put 0.5% of a thought in that shot, he would have scored. I think he genuinely just closed his eyes and kicked the ball as hard as he could and thought it was just going to go in because he was so close. But yeah, it wasn't a great half, despite these stats looking good. And again, how much you care about these stats will it will determine how much you think we've done all right in these last few games. And I don't think we've done all right in these halves. So for me, good stats, but don't look great when you know how well we played in that half.
But you expect that being at home, right? High percentage of possession.
I expect that away from home. We do this to teams home or away. I expect this just from Ange Postecoglou and Tottenham, because this is how we play. We would have this amount of possession home or away, maybe a bit less against bigger teams. And
the passes, Darius, it's a third of what we've had. They've had 68, which is exactly a third of 204. So
yeah, they've had half the touches in the box.
The biggest stat is it's the scoreline. When we do this, maybe we should have that. I don't obviously know people know what the scoreline was at halftime.
Yeah,
but that is the biggest stat that needs to be shown on here, because if
you've got context,
64, it does. If you've got 64% possession, 36, blah, blah, and all that stats there where they're very close. Because I've seen this. This is very similar in the Luton game. It's very similar in they're all very similar. We always have more possession. It's very similar in terms of the shots. The teams that play the way that they know how to play against us will have less possession, they'll have less passes. But the important thing is how many shots you get and how many goals you score. So it's 1-1 at halftime. So for me, I'd be happy. If I'm Nuno, brilliant. That's brilliant stats. That's not great stats for us. It's not good stats, because I know that that's how we play. Where is the possession? Defensive half. Why have we got 20 touches in the opposition box today, or only 10? What's happening if it's only 1-1? Again, it tells me, are you overplaying in the box? Are you trying to create too much more opportunities? Because if they've had the same amount of shots, the numbers don't make sense then, do they? Because I've always been told you can't have that many touches in the box. Once the ball gets into the box, you're trying to find a one-touch finish, 2-touch finishes at most. You don't want to be touched. And if you remember the goal that bloody Van de Ven scored, nobody wanted to shoot. He said, he said that in the interview. He said it.
I was screaming.
I'm going to bang it. Give it to me. I'm going to bang it. Those are the words that he used. I'm going to bang it. Come on now. If this is what these players are saying, and they're passing on responsibility, take responsibility. That's all you've got to do. Context for next time is to have the score. Because if it was 2-1 to them, or, you know what I mean, that
would look bad.
It's terrible, isn't it? It's terrible stats.
Horrible.
Okay, so it's 1-1. Sean saying here, Ange was asked about shots from distance in the press conference on Friday. He denied that players are told not to shoot, but he said the quality of long-range chances created was poor by the players. Right, so
he's not going to tell him to not shoot. Of course he's not going to tell him to not shoot.
Absolutely. Right, let's have a look then. Compare that. Sam, it was 2-0 in the second half to Tottenham.
Mm-hmm.
So 2-0 to Tottenham, and these are the stats. And I want your take on this then. 63% possession, so we had 1% less possession. They had 1% more in the second half. 9 shots Spurs had. They had 6. On target, we had 2. So we had less on target in the second half. They had 4 on target. 5 shots off target. They had 2. Shots inside the box and outside. We had 4 inside and 5 outside. They had 2 in, 4 out. 330 passes, 87% percentage rate. They had 195, just over half. 85% success rate. Passes in the opposition half, we had 147. They had 79. So ours went down, theirs went up. and touches in the opposite box. We went down 15. They went 15. And it was 2-0 to Spurs at the end of this. We had 2 shots in the second half, attacking the end that we always score at, and we scored 2 goals. What about these ones then, Sam?
Okay, so stats can be there to be believed, or stats can be there to deceive. It all depends on how you look at these. Now, again, you look at it and think of the scoreline being 2-0. Possession, very similar. Shots, again, very similar for us. I'm talking about just our stats here.
Yeah.
Passes, not too dissimilar to the first half again. Probably less passes in the opposition half and probably less touches in the box. And we scored 2 goals. Now, if you just think about it, there, as I said, stats are to be believed or to be deceived. If you think about it from a believing point of view, less touches in their half, in their half means that you're moving the ball quicker, or you're having less passing it back or passing it sideways. You're being more direct, not playing it just long, but being more direct. Less touches in the opposition box, again, goes along with what I'm saying. You're not supposed to have loads and loads of touches in the box if you're trying to score goals. You want to get in the box, 1 touch finishes, 2 goals scored. So again, context leads. We scored 2 goals in the second half. They didn't. And that's the stats that you want to see. That makes a difference to me. Okay, we played better, but the midfield changed. The midfielders that were brought on looked like they were more direct. I saw Bentancur carrying the ball more. I saw Højbjerg carrying the ball more. I saw Højbjerg looking to play forward at the first opportunity he received it. And he was playing in the number 6 position, which again, he could have easily been safe. Play sideways, play back to the centre-back, play back to the keeper. But I saw him, I watched him, he plays forward now. That's the biggest difference. And that's why I think it's a big problem for people like Basuma. Not so much Sarr, because Sarr, I think he's allowed to be able to, because he's playing it slightly differently. He's sometimes playing as an 8 and sometimes playing as a double pivot. But Basuma, uncomfortable conversations needs to be had, fam.
Darius, what's your thoughts?
I'll be honest with you. Again, this is just my opinion. I think that looks pretty shit, and I'm not gonna say that we were shit in that second half. I'm just taking these stats, like you said, out. Yeah, exactly. We were better. I'm just saying, out of context, knowing the score was 2-0, these stats don't look great.
Yeah,
and the goals we scored as well. Van de Ven probably won't score a goal like that many times in a season. And Porra's goal, again, quality finish, but a difficult goal to score. Not, one of these high quality chances that Ange loves to talk about. So for me, it's not smash and grab, but we got 2 good goals, good high quality goals, low XG sort of generated goals, and we kept possession. We did all right. I didn't feel too threatened. There was a period in that second half though where I could have punched the screen. I don't know what time it was, but I think you guys can remember we were trying to play out from the back. Højbjerg was making about 4. He made about 4 mistakes in that time, despite having a good game. But I was just like, you lot are taking a piss now. It's like you want to make things more difficult for yourself. So despite that little, I don't know, it's probably about 5 or 10 minutes, maybe a bit longer of it felt like buffoonery. It wasn't a bad second half. We looked like we were going to win that game. And again, when we conceded, I knew I had no worries. I wasn't even mad that we conceded because I knew we were going to score again. So, yeah, I think the biggest thing to take from this is, for me, there's a lot of players in this team that I'm not calling low quality. I'm not calling, not good at football, whatever. I think we've got a lot of very good players in this team, but I don't think they fit this system. And I don't think that it makes sense trying to force these players to fit a system when, their value could be at the highest point we could see. If they continue to play the way they do, the value is only going to decrease. And we can get into it maybe now or later on, but I think there's a lot of players who even played well yesterday who it's clear to me don't fit the system. And yeah, I don't know what's going to be. I don't see them leaving, but I think there's a lot of players that just, I think, struggle to play in this system, and it makes them look worse than they are, and they're not bad players. And people are going to start to get frustrated with them if they continue to, not put in performances that we expect.
Well, we'll talk about that because we need to have conversations, but we'll talk about that as we move forward. Right. Overall, then, 64% Tottenham, 36% Nottingham Forest, 17 shots Tottenham, 13 Forest, 5 on target for Spurs. They had 7. Shots off target, Spurs had 7, they had 6. Shots in and outside the box, we had 8 in, 9 out. They had 6 and 7. 668 passes at 88% success rate. They had 381 at 83% success rate. So even though they had just less than half of passes, their success rate was not that far off ours. Passes in the opposite half, we had 351. They had 147. And touches in the opposite box, 35. And they had 25 touches in the opposite box overall. So, Sam, overall then, would you be happy with that at home against Forest?
Scoreline.
Of course,
none of those things really matter unless the scoreline. For me, we won the game 3-1, so you can effectively look at the stats and think, yeah, you can say again, believe or deceive. We were very efficient. We had 5 shots on target. We scored 3 goals from them. One of those is obviously an own goal, so I don't think it counts as a shot on target. But you know what I'm saying. So basically, we were efficient in what we did yesterday. Again, the possession things. It's what you do with the ball. What was our XG yesterday? I don't know, but what was their XG? Because that chance that my man missed, Chris Wood, that must be high on the XG because
I don't know how he missed that.
So again, that must be quite a high on the XG. So their XG was probably very close to ours, I would imagine. I don't know. I'm just saying from what I can understand. What we have to do more of is control. Control is good in a sense. And when you look at possession, that's what you think. You're in control of the game. But you don't need to have the ball to control the game. Nuno said that. He said that yesterday in the first half, they had the ball, but we were in control of in terms of, and they were, if you really think about it, they were in control of certain aspects of the game because they were forcing us to shoot from outside. They were forcing us to kind of do things in terms of playing that ball. And that's why their midfielders come off, because I saw massive gaps in that midfield. So on the transition, I'm like, hold on, where's the midfield gone? Oh, shit. They're there, but they're just not effective enough. You can't have that. You can't give the ball away cheaply and then not expect that. So this is what we're seeing time in, week out. How can this be affected? Again, it goes back to the quality. If you are going to maintain possession of the ball, use it, but use the possession and get the ball forward as quickly as possible into the dangerous areas. Less touches in the box, shots on target, shots quickly. You might see a difference because I've watched Arsenal and I'm sorry to keep using them, but that's all they do. They're no real. Everybody keeps saying, "Oh my God, they're so brilliant." They're not that good. Wrong phrase. I'm going to take that phrase back. They're good, but it's a very basic, simple formula. That's what it is. They just do it very well.
And they have quality as well. Above all, they have quality.
Correct.
So, talking about XG then, right? I'll give you the overall XG, yeah? Expected goals, Tottenham 1.55.
That's low.
Nottingham Forest 1.55.
Really?
XG, yep. XG in open play, Spurs 1.27. Nottingham Forest 1.02.
Not too far.
Set plays 0.29 Spurs, Forest 0.52. And XG on target 1.91 Spurs, 1.40 Nottingham Forest.
I'm going to give about 0.8 of that XG to that Chris Wood shot because, Jesus Christ, he was literally 2 yards out. So if that ain't a guaranteed goal, I don't know what is. It ain't good show. I mean, again, how much you care about XG is whether you watch football with that lens, whether you watch football just to enjoy it. Everybody watches football in different lenses. Me, I kind of watch it. Sometimes I'm watching it as purely as a Spurs fan. Sometimes, again, you watch it as a neutral when you watch another team. Sometimes you do want to analyze certain players and how we play. But for me, that stat just proves to me that we dilly-dally. We just dilly-dally FC is basically what we are. We don't know what to do if the opportunity that we've been coached to do all week doesn't arise and doesn't come up. So if there isn't all that space in the middle for the fullbacks to do their thing, and if there isn't Werner being 1v1 and being able to put a ball in the box and Brennan running on whatever, it's like players can't think for themselves. And And that's why we have only 10 more touches in the opposition box, but, you know, almost 300 more passes in the team, because we are just dilly-dallying, waiting for that perfect opportunity. Somebody just take the ball, dribble. If you lose it, win it back, press it, win it back, go again, have a shot. Might fall into a player, might be saved by the keeper. You don't know what's going to happen, but there's too much. It's almost too much autonomy, like you said, Sam. It's like we're waiting too much for the perfect moment.
David Clark is saying here, this team will never win trophies. Too many of them just don't have what it takes in regards of accurate passing and not losing the ball in transition. I thought Bissouma, Destiny, Odegi, and Johnson were woeful. And then he's saying this. And what do you think of this one? I'd like you lads to tell me how many of our players are physically strong when being challenged. Very few. Son is never a number 9. He is too weak when receiving the ball. He loses the ball too easy. Agree with that, guys?
I've always said about the aggression, I've always said that we don't have enough fight. So what I'm saying to our fans, and even if the players are not watching, hopefully the message might get through to them. If you don't fight come the 28th of April when we play Arsenal, then we got no chance. Because that's one of the equalizers that we're going to have in our benefit, that we're at home and the crowd's behind us, and these players are going to have some fighting spirit. Because you don't have to be the best footballing team to win a derby. We've seen that. We saw that yesterday, in fact. Manchester United versus Liverpool. Everybody said both games, they're going to get spanked in the FA Cup. They're going to get spanked in this. It never happens. It never happens.
About sacrifice. They're saying sacrifice. That's what they were saying.
Man was telling me it was going to be cricket scores, both games. And I thought to myself, you know what? Manchester United are not the best team in the world, but you know they've got 72,000 fans and it's Liverpool. And they were up for it. The crowd was up for it. Even though it looked like Liverpool should have been out of sight in the first half, they weren't. That's the difference. So you're always in a game. And we always allow teams to be in a game because we don't put them to bed in the first half. We don't score 2, 3, and 4, and that's game over. We might score 1 and 2. Going forwards, next season, there's a few things that I've seen. Again, I'm going to use Arsenal example. When they have the ball in and around the box, if you watch their centre-backs, they're almost on the 18-yard box. Everybody is in half of a half. When we're doing the same thing, if you watch, our centre-backs are quite a little bit deeper. Now, all this thing about us being a high line, we're high line when we come to take goal kicks, we're high line when they're taking free kicks in certain places, and we try and hold that line. But we don't suffocate. We're still kind of midway go out, because you know what will happen if you do suffocate teams? Teams have to then play the ball long. Now, there's tactics that you can employ to try and combat that, and I would be able to do that if I was a coach. But what you find is the more you can get the ball back in that sense by suffocating teams, the more opportunities you've got to get the ball on target and get shots off and go quicker.
And the turnaround from defense to attack in terms of distance towards a goal is so much shorter. You win the ball back just outside the box of your opposition, you ain't got to do much to get back into an opportunity to score. And if you've got literally the fastest player in the whole of the Premier League, statistically the fastest player, your chances of losing a counter-attack 1v1, I know it's not great for his hamstrings to be running back like that. But we have that joker. We have that trump card where, and it was very much evident for me in that Forest game, where next season I will be a lot more confident to play against teams who want to counter against us if Van de Ven is fit, because it's easy. Like I don't worry when he's there. So again, everything you say is right. If we're gonna do this high line thing, fuck it, do what Arsenal do. Saliba and Gabriel are way past. They're touching box. They're touching edge of the center.
They are literally almost. They're almost in that position where if like I said, Thierry Henry made it right. He said if I was playing in that game, I would cheat, and this one
stay on the line.
Cheat. I would go slightly to the right or slightly to the left and push not as high as I could, but higher than what they are. It forces them to do one of two things. They can leave you, but then if you get the ball and you just play it long, you're in because you're always going to be onside. You're in your own half. They have to think about that. Okay, we at least have to put one player, so it's 1v1. That disrupts your system. They can't then suffocate you. You can even be braver and do it too. And again, I've done this because I've seen how you can work with coaching. It just depends on how brave you are as a manager. It could go pear-shaped. It could go Pete-tong because you might not have the quality to keep the ball in those areas and they will score. But if you watch what they do, they take that risk. Right, we're going to put all our players as far up as possible. And if we lose the ball, we'll try and win it back. If you don't win it back and you have got good players on transition, you will get opportunities to score. Now,
no risk, no reward, is it?
No risk, no reward. When we play them lot at our place, you watch how they will play exactly what they're not going to. They might have some tactical change, but when they have the ball in our half, in the attacking half, they're going to play. They're not going to say, all right, we're going to take a step back here. We're going to play safe. They're going to do exactly that because that's how they win games. We have to be brave.
100%.
So, quick ones then on this one. Back five. Thoughts on the back five's performances yesterday then? Obviously, Vicario didn't have much to do, to be fair. I think Van der Van was immense, as always.
Mm-hmm.
Romero done what Romero does, but there was a few times where, again, he was just walking out with a ball when he could have gone a lot quicker. But he doesn't see it after it's already done and dusted, and then he still doesn't give a shit. I think Pedro Porro, I think, was a bit exposed a few times. However, he had to score at some point because he's had the most shots for a defender without scoring this season. So it had to come off fruition at some point, and he got it yesterday. Sam, what did you think of the back five performance then?
Apart from Van der Ven, I think everybody was average. Dougie got caught out for the goal. Porro obviously scored. Van der Ven scored. So I guess they have got plus points in there. But our defence gets pulled apart. They do get pulled apart if somebody doesn't do their job. That's what I'm saying. Udogie didn't do his job tracking back. It means the centre-back has to come across. The other centre-back has to then come across. Both of them had been nuts. And then he left with opportunities like that. So, again, I'm not surprised that every team has opportunities against us. We just have to be more clinical. If we can keep clean sheets next season, we've got a much better chance. If we can't, we're going to be very similar to what we are this year.
Yeah. Darius, before I come on to you, I think that back five is probably one of... I'm not saying it's the best, but it could be potentially one of the best in the Prem. But, boy, can they not defend. They give away too many goals.
So that can't be the best then, Sid.
No.
I'm going to mark my defenders on
paper.
I'm marking my defenders, and it's probably not quite right to do because Udogie and Porro are not playing fullback. They're playing inverted midfielders. They are midfielders. They're inverted fullbacks playing in midfield, should I say. They are playing in midfield. So they have to be able to get back. They need the athleticism to get back. So the moment they switch off and say, I can't be asked to get back, everything breaks down. It breaks down because our forwards are not tracking back as much because they don't have to because we're supposedly in control of the ball. I saw Timo Werner get back occasionally yesterday because he probably had to. I saw Johnson have to do it. He does it more so than on the other side. But that's not part of the game.
Like you said, Sam, they just run. They don't really put in a tackle, do they? They just run to get back.
They just get back into position. They just get back into a shape. But in transition, if you're quick, there's no way they're all going to get back. There's no because we can't delay the play enough for them to get back. So we're always going to be struggling. If you watch the goal again, because he let him run off him, he's not got a player. So he's on his own. He can play the passing. If you track the runner, he's got to do right. He's got to either get past the doggy again or he's got to hold the ball up, which gives time for players to get back into shape, get back into a block. We don't seem to do that too often.
So Alex Scott experience is saying here, as soon as the ball is lobbed over our defence, they start dancing like turkey, heading for the slaughterhouse. So do you know what? Honestly, I'm not. I go to every home game, right, and I watch every game and whatever. Every time a team attacks us, and I'm talking set pieces, corners, whatever, these lot, it looks like they've never played together because I don't know. I know it's the zonal marking, but some of the goals we've conceded, if you actually sat down and watched every goal we've conceded, it's been awful defending. Awful defending. Out of position, haven't got a clue. Left for dead, players being stretched out of positions. It'd be interesting, you know. And like I said before, Sam, if you look on paper, these five, wow. But when you actually go and play, see them play, and sometimes you watch the goals we concede, you think, really? What fucking hell is going on here? So
without Van der Ven, that whole system
falls apart.
Breaks down. It breaks down. because of the fact that we give the ball away so much and teams have opportunities against us in transition. That's why next season we have to have him, and we have to have a very, very close second to him who's left-footed, who can do all the things that he can do. Maybe not quite at his level, but certainly very close to his level. But they have to have them attributes. They have to have pace. They have to be left-footed. They have to be personality-wise. It's got to be very similar. We can't then just try and play a that's what I'm saying about Dragonson. Very good, but he's right-sided. He doesn't play that side. It's very unfair for him to try and expect him to do what he does, Van de Ven, on the left-hand side.
Yeah. Darius, thoughts on the back five?
Yeah, keep it quick. It was pretty average for me, apart from the standout, which was obviously Mickey Van de Ven. I thought Doji didn't shine. Romero goes underappreciated, I think. I think Romero is just an important cog in our team. And Porro, likewise as well. But again, Porro has susceptibility to make silly mistakes. So for me, again, I think it just highlights the importance. And when I say this, I really mean the sheer importance of an elite defensive midfielder in today's game. Yeah. Like, you see with Arsenal, they had a good defense, decent defense last season, but that defense has now just been elevated to a new level with the introduction of a truly elite DM who can cover that much ground. Because as crazy as it is, defenders have to defend, yes, but a lot of their job is made easier if they've got somebody, cleaning up half the work that they need to do in front of them. Same with Rodri in that Man City team. You take them out of it, that's a lot more work for those defenders, which means that, just by sheer seeing them, face more chances, face more oppositions, they're going to look like they're going to concede to wingers, lose one-on-ones, whatever you want to call it. So I just think that with an elite DM in front of two elite centre-backs, it gets the best out of everybody. So it makes me question and wonder what we need to do in the summer and where the majority of our money needs to go in the summer. Because I think when you look at the 2024 stats, I think we're only third to City and Arsenal, maybe another team in terms of shots faced. I think we've only conceded like 98 before the game on the weekend. So yeah, defensively we look good, and this is why it's not purely, but 75-80% of it's down to Ange and his system. If he's not going to change the system, we really have to bring in elite personnel to make the system work. It will work if we've got elite personnel in certain positions. We need an elite DM. I think that back five is not going to change now for the foreseeable. So we need an elite DM to be able to help out and cover the space needed, because we have to suffocate teams. That's the way we play. We want to be like Arsenal and Man City. As much people don't want to admit that, that's the end game for us. We want to suffocate teams. We want to keep possession. We want to make sure we leave our mark on that pitch. So I personally think the money needs to go to an elite DM.
We have to have more clean sheets. That's the biggest thing for next season. Is we can do exactly what we're doing in terms of playing. We have to just keep more clean sheets. So whether that's having a double pivot in front, because you're right, you have to protect your back line as much as possible. Again, going back to the point, because we don't have fullbacks playing deep. More often than not, our fullbacks are going to get caught because they're in midfield. Only when we're taking our own goal kicks, only when we're back in the defensive block will you see our fullbacks in their real positions. We've got the ball and we've got possession and we've got control. They won't be in defense. They'll be either up top, in the middle, or just playing around, because they're part of the creativity to be able to get us the spaces to be able to then create the opportunities to score. Clean sheets are. I can't tell people how important it is to be able to have the ability to not let the other team score against you. And I don't see that in us at the moment. I knew Forest would score. I said 3-1 was going to be the score. And every single week I said this team, I don't think I predicted a nil. I don't think I predicted a nil.
The thing is, we've now got a manager that probably, whether Levy wanted or not, we know the way he plays, right? We know the players that we've got, some are not good enough. So, like you said, and in the summer now, you're going to either have to back the manager and go and get the players he wants to play the way he wants to. Otherwise, just give up. Just give up. Because if you've got a manager like that and we know the way he wants to play, yeah, then
you can't half-ass this project. Because if you do, it's going to look messy. If we don't have the right players in positions,
exactly,
and we're bringing off, centre backs and bringing on Emerson Royals in position of him, it's going to look messy and it's not going to be Ange's fault. Like, unfortunately, you've bought in 100% into this man, and I don't know if they knew this before they hired him, but he needs, if he's not got, like we said, Sam, a 1 to in my opinion, 1 to 22 minimum, 1 to 18, 1 to 19. You need like for like. Your whole bench needs to be able to come on and do the exact same job, because the system is so niche and so unique, or the skill sets needed to play in each position in the system is so unique. It's just, it's going to be messy if you don't go all in, which is why he said, Sid, you have to just, I think we have to, like you said, Angelo put it perfectly. We can improve this starting 11. I don't care about the bench when this starting 11 can still be improved. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right. So we're going to touch on the midfield and forwards quickly, because I've got to go in about 10. Thoughts on the three in the middle then? What did you think of that, Darius?
I'll be quick.
Yeah.
I'll be really quick. Basuma, I've kind of hinted at how I feel. Basuma, I think, is really under the lights at the moment. Part of it's not his fault. I don't think he's particularly suited for this system, but we saw what Ange said in the press conference recently about, you know, players coming to Tottenham to play for Tottenham and not to play in the Champions League. I think Basuma is an example of a player who probably wants to play in the Champions League and is happy to do that at a team like Tottenham. So I'm not sure, for me, how much time I've got left with being able to accept Basuma as our defensive midfield, given how important it is to this system. So, yeah, unfortunately, Saul was a little bit of a casualty as well to the performance of Maddison and Basuma, because I think Maddison was all right, but he wasn't anything special.
Yeah.
And, yeah, the substitutions made a difference. Højbjerg and Bentancur came on. Didn't play out of this world like I've seen some people say, but they definitely were an improvement. Steadied the ship. Technically a lot more sound, and with Højbjerg playing a little bit more defensively minded, you could see that we weren't looking like we were going to concede as much. So, yeah, I think it was good decision to bring them both off in the end. But yeah, Basuma, I'm not sure how long I've got left with Basuma. I think it's very much wearing down my patience.
I hear you, man. I hear you. Sam, briefly on the three in the middle.
Yeah, briefly, I can accept Star. I think Star's probably carrying a little bit of a niggle. I think the manager said so. He's also been asked to play a little bit differently. Sometimes he's asked to play in double pivot. Sometimes he's asked to support Maddison as another number 8. So again, and he's done well, and he's 21. Basuma, I'll touch on Maddison. Maddison again, they're taking him off 67, 70 minutes. Again, they're protecting him. You can see that they're just bringing him up to speed. He probably had a better game than he had for a while since his injury yesterday. So again, I'm looking at them coming on. Basuma now, I can understand why he never went to a big top 4 club before that. When he was at Brighton, more often than not, before De Zerbi came there, he was playing in a team that wasn't that great in terms of what say about that. They were certainly a possession-based team, but they weren't in the top 8 of teams. They were probably in and around a 10, whatever you want to say it. Now he's at Spurs. We are expected to be in and around the top 6, even though we were 8th last year. We're expected to be in and around the top 6. So most of the teams that we play, we're either better than or very close to, or, you know. So when he plays the top teams like Manchester City's, Liverpool's, the Arsenal's, I think he looks pretty good. When he's playing a normal, regular West Ham, not say West Ham, probably not, you do it wrong way, the Bournemouths, the Wolves, Crystal Palaces, he thinks he's better than he actually is. And his mentality is, I'm probably a bit better than this lot. I can play a bit nonchalant. And that's his problem. He's got to play like he's not the best player in the world, and I've got to prove myself every single week. Basuma, I've heard him in interviews a long time ago when he was at Brighton, and he's talking about, I think I'm one of the best in the world. Mate, let me tell you, I thought you was as well, but you're not. You're not.
Front three, I think Werner done all right. And he actually ran at the players. He ran at the defence, and he did come back once or twice as well to actually do a bit of mopping up at the back. I think Son was having another one of them frustrating games, and Johnson done all right as well. I mean, that's my take on it. Anything to add on them 3 guys at the front?
I think you're being nice. I think you're being very, very nice, to be honest with you, Sid. And I know you're a very nice lad, a very nice man, so can't blame you. But I think you're being nice, mate. I think all 3 of them were pretty poor. And as crazy as it is, not saying he was good, but I think Werner was probably the best out of the three of them. And the less we talk about Kulusevski, the better at the moment, because he's getting he don't need to be beat down anymore. So
yeah,
finally people are seeing the Werner thing.
We won't talk about Kulusevski, but that front three were pretty poor. It's just an average front three, and again, how much Spurs fans want to win a trophy will be determined on whether they want Werner to sign for the club or not. Would be all right. It would be okay. It wouldn't be like amazing. It'd be good, but it ain't needle moving, and it ain't gonna get us anywhere closer to a trophy. So why even bother wasting the 17 million? That's what I think. And you asked Sam when he first joined, I was saying immediately, don't even think about it. 17 million, put it on the table. But then I come to think of it, and I think, okay, if it ain't moving needles, why are we wasting time? Like, we're in a situation where he started basically nearly every game. Like, he's played nearly every game, and he's come on a 6-month loan. So we need to start thinking about really actually putting serious players in this position instead of stopgaps. Like Kulusevski, not going to talk about it. Let me not even talk about him. But Brennan Johnson again, I'll give Brennan Johnson the benefit of the doubt on the time, because I've seen good things from Brennan Johnson. He has potential. He could turn into a very good player. Yeah. But players like Werner, I ain't got time for. And Son's our captain, so Son he can make mistakes.
Sam, you're not even going there on Werner. You're not saying a word about Werner, right?
I've said all I need to say.
That's fine. I'm not even going to allow you to speak about Werner.
No, I'm going to be quick. Front three didn't have the best game. Son, I'm going to give Son a little bit of a pass because he's playing as a number 9. He can't hold the ball up. His first touch is not great. His first touch isn't great. I've watched him enough now. But I'm looking at his joint seats in the goals, and he's got 15 goals and 9 assists. The only other forward to have close to that sort of assist is Ollie Watkins, who's got 18 goals and 10 assists. Nobody else. Cole Palmer, 16 and 9. Nobody else has got close to that sort of number of assists. So I'm going to give Son a pass. Werner, Johnson, impact player.
Kulu?
Yeah.
Impact player.
Kulu's been rubbish for me this season.
He's an impact player.
That little passage of play he did at the end of the game, where he hesitated the through ball, he hesitated the long ball, and then fucked up the little simple ball. I feel bad for him. I don't even want to talk to you about him. I feel bad.
If we are going to target, and I don't know if we're going to target wingers as a priority, because I think we should target a number 9 and possibly a number 6 as the prime. No, if we have to only get, we're going to have to get more than 2 players, because we need a centre back as well. We need at least 3 players, and one of them has to be a striker, one of them has to be a midfielder, and one of them has to be a centre back. So the wingers, we might not get a winger. We might get Timo Werner. We might get him.
Right. If you think Werner isn't moving needles, what the hell is Kulu not turning? Please, apart from Kulu's first season, he has done bugger all. Do you know what? Yes.
David, mate, I don't even want to get onto it, David, I'll be honest with you.
Uncomfortable conversations again.
These are conversations we're going to have on Talking Points, Sam, because this is a reaction show. It's not Talking Points. And
I agree.
Them are Talking Points. Seriously, Kulu, Werner, maybe Johnson as well, Basuma, all Talking Points. And I think
we have to start being
serious.
What do Spurs fans want? To just enjoy watching football or start competing? That's the question.
Exactly. Right. An hour and 3 minutes on the reaction. We can go further and longer if I had
91 people.
If I let Sam talk about Werner.
We've got loads of people watching.
Everyone should be liking. I don't know what the likes are on now. But
hit that like button, subscribe to the channel.
Absolutely. 91 people, yeah. So make sure you smash that like button. And make sure you subscribe to PRTV Spurs, lads and ladies, whoever you are, wherever you're watching.
I'll come in my manager gear next time. I'm going to put a big coat on. I'm going to put a big coat on. Not just a training gear, a big coat on.
What, the tubey one? The big long trench one?
The big trench one. That's what I should do next time.
Yeah, listen, Alex, the only people that can have capital letters is Sid, Sam. These are shit players, so they can't have a capital. You can do whatever you want, but only me and Sam are allowed to have the capital S's for our names. Right, Sam, Darius, thank you very much indeed for joining me tonight for the reaction show. Thank you, everybody in the comment section. Thank you for all your comments. Thank you for participating. Thank you for watching PRTV Spurs Paxton Road TV. Hope you enjoyed the show. Yes, we won 3-1. We're 4th in the league now. Roll on 12:30 against Newcastle United at St. James's Park. We'll be doing a preview show, so make sure you join us. I don't know if there's going to be a talking points or not, Sam.
Yeah, there'll be talking points. Try and find out the best time this week for everybody.
There we go.
Yeah, we'll discuss that.
Cool.
We need to have, I don't usually want to do specifics, but we just need, I think we do on something about the players who we think is going to make it into next season, who potentially might not. We'll see.
Cool. Wherever you are, thank you for joining us. Have a great rest of the week. And
have you hit the like button? The 90-odd people. Have you all hit the like button?
Absolutely.
Hit the like button.
Capital L, Alex Scott. Capital L for like. Yeah. Press that button. Give us a like. And enjoy the rest of the week. Come on, you Spurs. Saturday at St. James's Park. Have a great evening, lads and ladies. Goodbye.
Develop,